Palm Bay set out to cut its budget by 20% across every department. On Wednesday night, the city quietly raised the target to $15 million.
20% sounded like the headline. It is not the headline anymore. 20% across the board only got the city about $3 million in savings. Deputy City Manager Brian Robinson said that number was, quote, not significant. So the city pivoted.
Wednesday's budget workshop ran 45 minutes. The city manager was not in the room. Matthew Morton was absent. Deputy city managers Jason DeLorenzo and Brian Robinson ran it.
DeLorenzo opened with the DOGE frame, Palm Bay's local efficiency initiative, branded after the federal version. He told the council each department was asked to find a 20% operational cut without touching core service delivery.
That was the directive going in. By the end of the night, the directive had changed.
Here is the moment it changed. Robinson, in his closing remarks, said the city is now aiming for a $15 million reduction, could land between $13 and $15 million. The 20% figure produced about $3 million. The new number is roughly 5 times that.
Councilman Kenny Johnson asked the question the audience was thinking. What was the aha moment?
Robinson's answer was that $3 million was not enough, so they widened the scope. Every line, every project, things that were budgeted but never done, all of it back on the table.
3 finance staff walked the council through the underlying numbers. Budget Program Administrator Jessica Henchman, Capital Asset Program Administrator Sean Spillers, Budget Analyst Shane Bird.
Total requests citywide, 353 of them, adding up to $287 million. That is what the departments asked for. The city has to fit it under a much smaller ceiling.
One of the biggest fixed costs is pensions. The pension line is climbing $4.3 million in fiscal year 2027, a 39% jump.
And here's why. Palm Bay added about 35 police and fire positions in fiscal year 2024. Pension contributions are calculated from an actuarial report that runs a year or two behind, so the bill from those 2024 hires is just now landing.
Henchman walked the council through how heavy these contributions are. Police pension runs about 41% of salary. Fire pension runs about 46%.
She gave a concrete example. A police lieutenant at top step earns about $165,000. The pension contribution alone on that one position is roughly $47,000 a year. A fire lieutenant at top step, the pension contribution is about $52,000.
Those are mandatory payments. They come off the top before any service delivery conversation begins.
Then there's the BCRA question, the Bayfront Community Redevelopment Agency. It's sunsetted. The money it used to send to road maintenance went with it. Finance Director Larry Wojciechowski walked the council through where that stands. There is still some money set aside. There's also a pending lawsuit. If any money's left after the lawsuit resolves, it splits between the city and the county.
And to backfill the gap, the city is planning to set aside $2.5 million a year of general fund money to replace what BCRA used to cover. Wojciechowski said this has not been discussed yet. It will come up in the June one-on-ones.
$2.5 million a year to stand still on road maintenance.
That is the cost of the BCRA sunset that residents are about to start paying through the general fund. Council just heard it for the first time on Wednesday.
Public Works is carrying the biggest project load, almost $19 million in CIP and project requests, mostly roadway and intersection work.
And growth keeps adding to it. More vehicles, more miles driven, more wear on the same roads. Johnson made the point directly. Roads are getting hit harder, and there's no replacement funding stream yet.
There was one resident at the podium, Doug Hook, from the city's Sustainability Advisory Board.
Hook asked for $500 a month, not for himself, for the board to do projects. Plants, mulch, volunteer-driven cleanups with community partners. He said a $4,000 project would take 8 months of saving at that rate.
He also asked for an alternative, a way to route donations through the city, the same way Parks and Recreation receives donations, so the board could fundraise on its own.
It was the smallest dollar ask of the night, and it was the only one that came from outside city staff.
Johnson raised one more issue that the city has heard before: travel.
His point was that travel events are mostly annual. The city knows they're coming. They should be approved once inside the budget and then left alone, not approved as recurring add-ons month after month.
He asked Finance to bring back in July the total amount the city spent on travel above the approved budget last year. That is a control test. If the number is small, the system is working. If the number is large, the council has a discipline problem on its hands.
Behind all of this is something Robinson flagged in his closing. The city is rebuilding the budget process while a new financial system is being installed, an ERP implementation, midstream.
That is a hard thing to do, changing the rules of the game while the game is running. Robinson said it was not ideal, but the council mandate required it. The team is pushing through both at once.
The dates that matter: June one-on-ones between each department and the city manager, July 7th budget workshop with the proposed budget, public hearings September 9th and September 23rd. Those are the state-required dates.
So if you want to weigh in, the September hearings are where the budget gets formally adopted. The math happens in June and July. The vote happens in September.
One last thing. The 20% target is gone. The number to watch is 15 million.
Spread unevenly. Not every department would take a 20% cut. Some would take more, some less, depending on what the city manager's office decides is core. Robinson said it could fluctuate. Police might come in at 18. Parks and facilities might come in at 22. The total is what matters. Read the full article at thepalmbear.com.
This is the Palm Bear.